name is Jonathan Gomez. I go by he, him pronouns. And yeah, I did my fellowship this year at the El Dorado and Georgetown Divide Resource Conservation District. And for the agenda today, we're going to have just a little quick background, the projects that I was involved in, some of my professional developments that had the great opportunity to do, and as well as my final thoughts and reflections. So for a quick background, I wanted to acknowledge that I am working on the unceded lands of the Nisenan, Miwok, and Washoe tribes. And those are, again, on the El Dorado and Georgetown Divide Resource Conservation, where they're located at now. And a quick little background, like Leo has already mentioned about resource conservation districts. A great thing about them is that they're non-regulatory. So they're not, yeah, they're non-regulatory, non-governmental organizations that mainly help private landowners. And a fun thing about the El Dorado and Georgetown Divide Resource Conservation, they're both two separate resource conservation districts that share the same staff. So they're not joined. And El Dorado first started, if anyone has ever been over here, there's a lot of apple orchards here. So El Dorado first started with soil erosion from those apple orchards, and the Georgetown Divide started to mitigate Scotch broom up in the area. So yeah, we'll do a little. I don't know why. Sorry. This computer is so slow that it just lags. Okay, so projects during my term. One of the main projects that I was involved with was our Fire Adapted 50 project. And our Fire Adapted 50 project, a lot of other projects kind of piggyback from there. I was also involved in our Watershed Education Summit, which was a little shorter this time around because they usually have it a little week-long thing. I was also able to help with ag in the classroom, which was super fun to teach little ones, and other little events just like farm day. Yeah. So Fire Adapted 50. Fire Adapted 50 is a huge collaboration with multiple local agencies. These local agencies involve the county, Fire Safe Council, CAL FIRE, U.S. Forest Service, and many other stakeholders that provide the funding for the projects that I was working with. And the main purpose of these projects is to create a wildfire resilient landscapes and fire adapted communities. My role in the beginning was just to learn how the projects worked and the bigger scope of the projects and flagging out the project areas, and then started getting into the invoicing and start mapping out those invoicing, contacting landowners and making sure that their voices are heard. And mainly a lot of these projects that I was working with is kind of centered around what the landowner wants. If they want to be a part of it, then they're a part of it. If they say no, then they are no. And since we're not regulatory, we can't force them to do anything. So yeah, so if they want to join, they join. If they don't, they don't. And a main project of this of all these projects, the Fire Adapted 50 was photo monitoring. So what is the Fire Adapted 50 in a huge land, like, and narrowing it down almost, is it's pretty much reducing all the vegetation in private, public, and lands. So the whole process is using masticating machines, these big machines, and they masticate the whole vegetation underneath. Trees 12 and under in breast height diameter. Everything gets grounded up, masticated, and then left on the ground is about 3-inch wood pieces. And in the end, you get a result that kind of looks like this. So on the top photo, you have pre-treatment And on the bottom photo, you have a post-treatment. And as you can see, it's a lot different. We call it an aggressive treatment because you take out all the vegetation underneath. And like I said before, it's trying to create this wild fire resilient landscape. And so if any of you knew last year, the area was hit by the Calder fire, and another project before I joined into joined this year, they had done a fields mastication project as well, and that gave the ability to have CAL FIRE go in. This is not the project of these photos on the right, but imagine if CAL FIRE were to go in and try to conduct a back burn on the top photo, but it would be harder. But over by the Slide Park Reservoir, where some of the work has been done, which looked like the photo below, CAL FIRE was able to get in and conduct a back burn and burned up to the fire, which in a larger scale did protect the community of Slide Park. If the work hadn't been done, maybe that wouldn't have been the case. So there's a lot of pluses and negatives of doing this work, and towards the environment, but there is some really big some big positives of just helping protect communities as well. And another fun stuff that I was able to do was ag in the class and Farm Day and West. West was the Watershed Education Summit. So ag in the class, I did several educational lessons with the local students here, all ranging from like 3rd grade to, I would say, 5th grade. Pretty young, but they were super excited, and it was really, really fun. And I really enjoyed taking some of the stuff that Michelle had mentioned to you about my education is environmental ed, and to also apply it and also use my environmental ed background and teach the local youth about soil erosion, healthy ecosystems, climate change, water quality. We did a lot, and it was super, super fun. And those are the photos on the left and the one in the middle. And for Farm Day, we created this little watershed model. I don't know if it's easy to see on your computers, but it's up there on the top right. And it was super fun. It ended up being a big hit because we kind of made it last minute, and it didn't look like that at first. And we just gathered a bunch of things that we could find and came out looking really cool. And teaching all the youth how to kind of about the watershed and where water starts to get polluted, and just showing them how it affects their local community. Because this is up in the Sierra Tahoe, and we made it show the apple orchards and up to Folsom Lake. And the photo down below is our Water Education Summit, and those are local kids from a local high school, and we taught them the transects, tree canopy cover, just wood decay, just a lot of the basic forestry stuff that I had done before as well. So yeah. And a fun thing about my time here at the El Dorado and Georgetown Divide Research Conservation District was the ability to pursue a lot of my professional development. So similar with Joaquin, I did my firefighter type 2, and I obtained that basic wildland fire training, and yeah, received that type 2 certificate. And my goals for that is to use it towards prescribed burns as well. And with the prescribed burn, I was able to start the El Dorado, or help start and be a committee member of the El Dorado and Amador County Prescribed Burn Associations. And I was able also to get my California certified naturalist, which was super fun as well. And I also with some GIS and grant writing experience. So for my firefighter type 2, I didn't have many photos, but it was super fun. It was a lengthy plot process, almost not necessarily, but just 40 hours online. And then we were able to have this in-person education where we learned how to use burn torches, use a fire hose, lay fire hose, create a fire line. And on the left, that's a few of the GrizzlyCorps members that attended the training. And on the right is us learning how to use the torches. So one of the things that I really appreciated this year was helping start the El Dorado and Georgetown or El Dorado and Amador Prescribed Burn Association, and just being a part of the committee and putting fire onto the land, good fire. And on some of the photos there, we're burning blackberry bushes on a private landowner's home, and the little article or there is about that day, and just an overview of what that day happened. And again, prescribed burn associations are community-based mutual aid networks that help private landowners put good fire back onto the land. Forgot to mention that. But yeah, and then another fun thing is I was did the California certified I'm California certified naturalist right now, and that one was super fun to learn about things that I hadn't known about California, some of the geology, and just bats. I think one of the most interesting ones that I really enjoyed was bats and just how they worked. And GIS and some grant writing knowledge. And here's some of my maps that I made for one of our, on the right is one of our private foresters that a project that he needed a map for. And on the right is a map made with all my photo points that I had gone through, and actually used it for the final grant report and closed out that that project as well. Successes and barriers. I think some of the biggest successes is learning about vegetation management, wildfire recovery efforts, and what the state is doing to reduce these risks. And through the risks through in this county, El Dorado County, is through a lot of fuels reduction projects on private and public lands, and seeing the collaborations through multiple stakeholders, and the Prescribed Burn Association. And some of my takeaways was, I think the big takeaway was taking away how communication through almost various communication styles, and just kind of navigating all that and being able to become better at my communication with those different styles. And a barrier would have to have been in the beginning was having to wait for a links pass, which is a links pass is since the RCD shares the same offices as the NRCS, which is a government agency, is to have a government card to be able to use these computers that I'm having trouble with right now. And another challenge as well would be jumping into the middle of these projects and learning it all and figuring out, because they're huge projects, and figuring all that out. Some of my reflections and conclusions. I really appreciate the support of the GrizzlyCorps staff and cohort. I think that they really have supported me a lot through this year, and the amount of knowledge that I have gained during my term, and what to look for in the future, trainings, and all these friendships that I have gained throughout this year. And to end that with any questions and answers.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. A lovely overview of your time in El Dorado. I love that picture in the top right hand corner too. If anyone has any congrats, thanks, other questions or comments, feel free to plug them in to the chat. But it's been, yeah, so great to support you over the year and to see you work around, yeah, both the challenges and to make the most of the time you've had.
Thank you. Should I stop sharing screen? I'll stop sharing.